Picture this: a 5-ton dinosaur standing in a Cretaceous savanna chewing on ferns. Healthy yesterday. But today, ribs poking through its skin, belly swollen like a balloon, eyes glazed. And inside its gut, something is eating it alive, without ever taking a single bite. This isn't a predator story. It's something far more disturbing, because what's killing this iguanodon isn't a T-Rex or starvation. It's microscopic, it's ancient, and right now it's doing the exact same thing to a cow in a field somewhere near you. Stay with me, because what scientists found inside fossilized dinosaur poop changes everything we thought we knew about survival. Here's where it gets strange. When paleontologists crack open 125-million-year-old dinosaur coprolites, that's fossil poop, they don't just find digested plants, they find eggs, tiny, oval, thick-shelled eggs that look disturbingly familiar, because these aren't dinosaur eggs. They're parasite eggs. Specifically, roundworm eggs, nearly identical to the ones infecting livestock today. Now, you might be thinking, okay, worms, gross, but not that dramatic, right? Wrong. Because the species that laid these eggs didn't just give dinosaurs a stomach ache. In heavy infections, they could turn a thriving herbivore into a walking skeleton in weeks. And here's the unsettling part. The same parasite family has been perfecting this strategy for over 200 million years. They survived the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. They didn't just survive, they switched hosts and kept going. But before we get to how they're still killing animals today, you need to see what they actually do inside the body. Let's rewind to that ornithopod. Think of it as a Cretaceous cow, 5 tons, built for grazing, with a massive hindgut designed to ferment tough plants. Everything about this animal screams survivor, except for one weakness: its intestines. See, for a big grazing herbivore like this, the gut is everything. It's a fermentation chamber, a nutrient factory, and it takes up most of the body cavity. Miles of coiled intestine packed into the belly. And that's exactly where ascarid-type nematodes, the roundworms we're talking about, set up camp. These weren't tiny parasites. Adults could reach a foot long, pale and slippery, coiling through the small intestine like living spaghetti. Dozens of them. Sometimes hundreds. And here's what makes them so devastating. They don't just sit there. They feed. Some species rasp at the gut lining, causing bleeding. Others block nutrient absorption. The dinosaur keeps eating, but it's starving from the inside. Within weeks, you'd see the classic signs: potbelly from fluid and gas building up around the infection, weight loss as muscle wastes away, dull, patchy skin. But the truly horrifying part? You can't see any of this from the outside until it's too late. Imagine you could shrink down and ride an endoscope into that dinosaur's gut. Now, zoom in on one, a gravid female, her body packed with eggs. As you watch her reproductive opening pulses, and suddenly, eggs. Hundreds of them, released in a cloudy plume into the intestinal fluid. Those eggs ride the peristaltic waves, the rhythmic muscle contractions pushing food through the gut, from the small intestine, through the hindgut's fermentation chamber, and into the rectum, and then they leave the body. Here's where the strategy gets diabolical. The dinosaur defecates. The fecal mass hits the ground, breaks apart, and those eggs scatter across the vegetation. Sun, rain, soil, doesn't matter. The eggs are built to wait. Inside each egg, a larva develops. Slow, patient, could take weeks. Then another herbivore comes grazing. Maybe the same species, maybe something else. Doesn't matter. The parasite isn't picky. The animal eats contaminated plants, swallows the eggs, and the cycle starts again. Larvae hatch in the gut, burrow into the intestinal wall, molt, mature into adults, mate, release more eggs, rinse, repeat, for over 200 million years. But here's the truly wild part. When the asteroid hit 66 million years ago and wiped out the non-avian dinosaurs, these parasites didn't go extinct. They just waited. After the dinosaurs vanished, mammals rose to fill the gap. Large-bodied herbivores, deer, bison, eventually cattle, took over the grazing niches. And the nematodes? They switched. The same parasite lineages that once coiled through iguanodon guts adapted to infect mammalian intestines. The life cycle stayed identical. The eggs looked the same under a microscope. Think about that. The worm eggs in a cow's manure today are functionally identical to the ones paleontologists find in 125-million-year-old coprolites. Same shell structure, same survival strategy, same devastation. So what does this mean? The next time you see a cow grazing in a field, remember, there's a decent chance something inside its gut has been perfecting its craft since before the continents looked like they do now. That's not just disgusting, that's legacy. If you made it this far, drop a comment. What other invisible organisms do you think shake evolution more than we realize? And hit subscribe. We're diving into more ancient parasites that refuse to die. Bye.